edition of Panola Pride with our very special guest each Thursday, Mrs. LaGrone. Welcome back. It's just a beautiful rainy Thursday.
Oh, yeah, normal one.
For us, for this time anyway. Well, you just have a list of thank yous that go 4 or 5 miles long.
All right. I wish we could take time to say thank you to everybody.
We have gathered some 50 names.
More than 50 names.
On
and
our banner.
won't forget any others that we don't have.
So
For our Desert Storm banner.
2 or 3 ways that you can do it. We're taking those names here at the radio station. You're taking them at the library.
Any way I can get
and the newspaper
right.
is also soliciting. So it's a joint joint project of everyone involved here.
Right.
So we need the name of any young man or young woman that's in the Middle East presently right now, what their present military address is,
right,
and their relationship in Panola County.
Yes. They don't have to be living here, but they have to be associated with somebody that lives here.
Okay.
In other words, a grandson or something, a granddaughter.
You have a group of people that are going to help you put these names on the banner.
Right, and it will be hung in the library at the old jail.
Okay. Now, I understand, moving from that our security windows are going up. Is that right?
Right. The security windows are almost finished, thanks to Pat Jones and Bud Worley and the boys of the technical shop class at school. They're bringing them one by one and putting them in, so the ground floor will be secure. It never has been before, but they fixed it for us.
Very good. Okay. And we have a microwave
oven that was donated to us by Frances Robinson just after our program one morning, after this program one morning. She called me immediately and says, I just heard you and I want to do something. And so she gave us this for our snack room.
Well, I'll tell you what, your list just keeps growing.
It surely does.
As the thank yous.
People just think of things that we need, and we haven't even asked for them yet, but we just appreciate every bit of it.
And your hours at the library remain the same this week?
Yes, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Sunday afternoons.
Okay.
Our building is now flying the ribbons recognizing our young people in service, and we thank David Giles for coming down and decorating it for us for our recognition of them.
Very good. Okay, we'll get into our
now
basic
we just
program.
have a wealth of information. I hate to leave that library with a table full of new information on families in this county that's come into us. But this is the way it's been, and we appreciate everybody that is sharing this information, because this becomes permanent file for everybody. And we're having a busy time, and that's the way we want it.
Very good.
I thought today we'd talk about one of the heroes of pioneer times in this county, Captain Bob Weir, or Weir. I've had a little about him all along and have tried to get a hold of the real collection of his material, and I knew that Mrs. Rogers Lacey had done a book on him back in the 1960s, but I had not seen the book. And so in the last week, 2 ladies in this county have made it available that we could make a copy of that book, and it's a thick book, and it gives so much more than just his story, but it's fascinating, and I just get buried in it. And thanks to Lovis Pelham and Arzell Williams, we will now have this information, and his descendants are all over the country. He was a riverboat captain on Sabine River, and he was a keeper of notes, and they have this book has collected many of his own writings. So this is a collection that we're so proud to get, and I thought we ought to talk about him today. Why are we so excited about getting information on him? Well, we're excited in getting information on any pioneer that was a leader for his time, but especially this man has left stuff for us, and he'd say, now, this is your father's book, or this is your grandfather's book. Keep it forever. Save it. And they have saved a lot of it. It's come down through the generations. And so they've saved a lot of it, and this is just great. Robert Willis Weir was moved to Panola County from Mississippi. He was born in Mississippi, and his family, Andrew Weir was his father. They moved to this county and settled at Grand Bluff in 1846. Now that's the same year that Panola County was formed. And his father went into business there, and the boy, Bob, they called him, and he became Captain Bob because he was a steamboat captain on the river. As he grew up, before the Civil War, he was steering boats, and he got the title captain, and then of course he was in the Civil War. But he was born in 1835. Well, that would make him what, about 11 years old when they moved there, and so he finished his growing up at Grand Bluff. And here his family spread. It was a large family. And they married and intermarried with different families in this county. So this is the reason I say that his descendants are far and wide, and all of them will be interested in seeing the information we've gotten together on him. Captain Bob is a businessman now. I grew up, as I said, and was a steersman and the captain on a river boat. And one of the things that he tells he wrote articles in his late years for the newspapers, and we have clippings of those that were preserved. And he told the names of the boats that went up and down Sabine River. And he gave some dates that they were mainly in progress on the river before the Civil War. After the Civil War, the trains came, and that, when the trains came, railroads came, that ended the riverboat traffic. But you see, cotton went down the river, and he even gave in his notes, and I have them here, and we'll go back to those in a little bit, the names of the boats, the load of cotton they'd carry downriver. People have a hard time believing today that a steamboat with 1,000 bales of cotton could float down Sabine River. Well, a few times they did have to widen it a little or get sand out of the bottom to be sure they didn't drag into the sand. But the river was fairly clear back in those days. He mentioned that it didn't have great sand shoals that would stop the boat. But he told about one boat that when it wrecked and sank, it lost 800 bales of cotton on that boat. Well, now, that was a lifetime for a bunch of people, you know. They raised cotton in such great amounts at that time. He, after the Civil War, became a farmer, like everybody was. You know, there were no cities in Panola County. Still aren't much. We call ours a city, but it's a country town, and we're glad it is, because we're country people and we enjoy each other. But he was a country man, but he was known in every community, everywhere. And he lived over there in the Sand Hill area between Beckville and Harmony Hill. And Harmony Hill had a little newspaper, but he also contributed items to the Dallas News. And then he would save the clippings. He was a keeper, sort of like I am, of junk, you know, of everything. Somebody's going to have a gay old time getting rid of a bunch of my junk. But anyway, he kept scrapbooks very much like Ms. Malone did. We have some wonderful material that Ms. Malone collected for us, and she just got clippings and stuck them as she got them into old Christmas card catalogs that had good tough paper in them. And they're valuable now volumes, because they're of what happened a long time ago, and we don't have that information. Okay, he was that kind of person. and he raised crops on the farm as well, and reported the community life and what was going on. And oh, we're so glad to get one of his reports. And so for that reason, not only was he a farmer, but he was a writer as well. He was also, of course, a Civil War soldier. And his writing right here is the first place I have found a listing of Confederate soldier reunions. I knew one was in Carthage because we have a picture made in front of the old courthouse of the veterans of the Civil War had their reunion here. But I had dated that about 1912, and he has the exact date, 1905. Said it met in Carthage. Then it met in Tyler that same year, later that year. And it met in New Orleans the next year. See, by these 1900s, there weren't many of them, you know. It just gradually played out because the old soldiers died. There had it one at McGregor, Texas. Now, he attended these, so he kept the record of them, 19 and 10. And then Little Rock, Arkansas, 1911. And I presume that's the last one he attended. But he was one of the leaders, and Sheriff Forsyth was one of the leaders in those Civil War reunions. Now, this man, Captain Weir, lived to be, I believe James Weir is a descendant out here on Marshall Highway. I believe he told me he lived to be 86, maybe 87 years old. And that put him to die in about 1922. But up until that time, and you know, we don't have a great deal of information saved that early. And his information goes on back before the turn of the century in many cases. So as a businessman, he just did everything, and then as a soldier, he did it all. And he kept up with the old buddies of his. And he said his company, and by the way, his company was Company C of the 4th Texas Cavalry. And he and 5 of his brothers were in it. Not all in that company, but all in the Civil War. Think about 6 brothers. You see, the Civil War just cleaned families out. Well, he said in the company they were in, they left here with 117 men, and only 16 ever got home. That's the kind of casualties. Now, we're shocked now at what's happening, and heartbroken at what's happening. But it's not on our soil. Never has been another such as the Civil War that's fought right at home and took our people, and they didn't get back. And of course, families were left destitute. But we felt that we were fighting, and were, for home soil under the circumstances. It was a principle at stake.
Yes.
It really was not slaves. That was just a side issue. But it's a yes I am, no you're not, yes I am, no you're not kind of thing is what. And you know, a pair of boys is fought over a yes I am, no you're not kind of thing. And when it gets serious enough to be a shooting war, that's bad. Well, anyway, he had all this experience, and he wrote about it and talked about it and told about it. And many of them didn't. You know, they had the experiences too, but we have no record of them. So that's the reason it's so important to hang on to anything we come across that reveals this. I ran into, in his stories, I ran into his listing of traffic on the river. I think I may have that here. I don't know for sure, but I have notes on it if I don't. Traffic on the river, and he named, no, I may not have it after all, named the boats that were on it, and I have them listed. He said the first one that came up as far as Grand Bluff was named the Buffalo, and that was in 1848. Well, that would be when he was an adolescent.
So he became in 46 at 11.
Right. He'd be 13, you see. So he was there and saw the very first one. He knew. And perhaps he fell in love with boat traffic on the first sight. And the second one was called the General Rusk. You see, Rusk was a hero of the Texas Revolution, and it is named for him. The third one was named Kate. Now, I don't know who's Kate, but probably the boat owner named it after some woman in his family. And this Kate was the one that sank with 800 bales of cotton on it, and it sank just below Logansport. Now, when he wrote that down, it was not Logansport as we know it down. It was Logan's Port. And in modern times, it's run together and become Logansport. Shreveport was the same way. Shreveport. And Shreveport became Shreveport. And the same with Logansport. And this one went down just below Logansport. I think the Uncle Ben was the one he was on. He went into detail and says, and now comes Uncle Ben. And I have run into several items through research on Uncle Ben, the boat Uncle Ben. I think that this is the one that he was active on. He didn't say it in this note, but I have run into that at other places. And he said that it was used just like many others right up to the Civil War, and that after the Civil War, it also became a war boat on down to Sabine Pass, and became a gunboat. So it must have been a pretty powerful steamboat on the river, and was used in the Battle of Sabine Pass. And of course, that's a famous battle in history. So Captain Weir had a lot to share with us, and he has a lot of descendants around here that are going to want to, they sure ought to trace their ancestry back to him if they can, and many of them can. And I invite them to come and see. His name was Robert Willis Weir. We used to call it Weir in my childhood. I think I have a distant kinship with some of them, but I haven't found it yet. But somewhere along the line, somebody married my cousin or something, and I don't know. I haven't found that yet, but we used to call them cousins. Now, I don't know whether everybody just loved each other so they called them cousins or not, but anyway, we used to say Cousin Bob Weir, and I never knew him. Because I was just a country kid, you know, and he was way over my head to know and understand. But he was one of 9 children in his family. So when you get 9 children, of course, and then all their children and all their children.
But the third generation, there are a lot of cousins.
A lot of cousins now of them. And so I recommend this personality and what he stood for and what he wrote about as interesting reading for anybody, whether you're tracing family or not. If you're just interested in how we did this and what this river has done and what this county has done, this is great reading.
And you can find it at the library.
You can find it at the library.
Mrs. Brown, thank you for being our guest today, and we want to remind everyone of the list that we're building of people that are involved in the Middle East.
We're in the process of doing a banner to hang in the library. We have ribbons on the front saying this is the center that represents and glories in the bravery of our young people.
So if you have names and military addresses and their relationship to Panola County, you may bring that by the radio station. We will see that it gets to the proper people. You may carry it by the library at your regular hours.
Right.
And
the newspapers collecting them. So all of us together ought to get the whole roll.
We should get a good list.
The difficulty in compiling rolls of World War I soldiers and World War II soldiers. The World War II soldiers came back and compiled a book of their own, and that saved their enlistment. It's been a real struggle to get the ones in World War I. So we want these people to go down in history as being our heroes, and we want to honor them.
One other thing, don't forget about the Lions Club show tomorrow
Right,
night.
right. I'm looking forward to it.
You have been a part of that show for many, many years.
Since it started, over in Kuntz Building, in that old auditorium.
This is the 46th performance.
46.
And we were talking to
I haven't missed one.
Several people that have been in the show 50 years. They were talking about 40 years, rather, and Mr. E.L. Oates, for example, came in when the first year, 1950, they went into the the junior high school but then the new high school. And he said he moved to town that time, and he was in that first show in that auditorium, and that's where we would like to see everyone.
I joined the team when it started. We were in the school system, you know.
And I can recall you painting many a set. And,
me.
And Grady was the secretary of the club.
For so many years. So we lived and breathed Lionism, and it was so important to him.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank our listening and viewing audience for being with us, and we invite you back at this same time tomorrow.
Forget the rain, and just pretend that it's shining out there.
As the collection will be bringing you our next program for tomorrow. Until then, have a good day.